And right now we are 2 minutes away from the end of the trading day. Romaine Bostick here with Matt Miller, taking you through to that closing bell with a global simulcast. Carol Massar and Tim Stenovec join us from the radio booth. Welcome to our audiences across all of our Bloomberg platforms, including our partnership with YouTube. Right across the screen, Carol Massar, though, that was a bit of a change from what we saw just a few hours ago.
Yeah, not a new record, right? We've talked about, we certainly heard from Fed Chair Jay Powell kind of talking about maybe he was also asked about the markets and so on and so forth. I think the real read is that he didn't necessarily commit to, more rate cuts. And I think the expectation...
Were you expecting him to do that?
I did not.
Okay.
I believe he's data dependent. If there's any message, T-shirt or hat that I bought from Jay Powell, that's the one, data dependent. And so...
Will that be the title of his book?
No.
Data Dependent, the Jerome Powell story.
He does have a new book out, though.
He does?
No, he doesn't have a new book, but he was talking about a book.
Oh, he was talking about a book. Yeah.
Shouldn't he? Okay, never mind.
Okay.
Was it Infinite Jest?
Oh. David Foster Wallace, a classic that I'm sure Matt has on his shelf. Hey, there was a moment, though, at about just before 1
one
p.m.,
of those books that everybody has on their shelf, but nobody's actually read.
I didn't mention that part.
It's like that and the Power.
Wait, one of our producers, Talia, says Powell's book, Painful and Transitory.
That could be the name. That's good.
Well done.
12:58 p.m., if we talk about crucial moments of the day, it is when Jay Powell said that some asset prices elevated versus historical levels, and by many measures, equity prices are fairly highly valued. We did see stocks move lower after those comments, but he did say it's not a time of elevated financial stability risks.
Okay, I have no idea what any of that means, but we have right across the screen here on this Tuesday afternoon as we get the closing bells in New York. The Dow down about 80 points roughly, or about 0.2%. Takes a while for these numbers to settle, but you see the damage there on your screen. The S&P down more than 30 points, or 0.6%. The NASDAQ composite down almost 1% on the day. The NASDAQ 100 down 0.7%, and the Russell 2000 closing down 0.2%. I just want to point out, though, that Dow Transports and the S&P Equal Weighted Index are both finishing out the day in the green.
All right, good to know. Let's go back to the S&P 500. So the large caps, 278 names to the upside, guys, 222 to the downside, and Matt, 3 unchanged.
Yeah, let's take a look at what the breakdown looks like in terms of industry groups. We had most of them in the red today. You can see that energy was a gainer as the underlying asset was rising. Oil is up more than 1% this morning, or this afternoon, I should say. Consumer staples, industrials, and healthcare rising there. But everything else in the red, including the all-powerful and heavy IT and communication services. That's where those hyperscalers hide out. So you need them to gain in order to have any decent traction on the S&P 500. Although I should say we're not that far off of the record close yesterday. What was it, 66.93, I think?
Yeah, just going to interrupt you here. Micron earnings are crossing the wire right now. The maker of that high-end memory and storage chips here for its fiscal fourth quarter. The company says EPS did actually come in above estimates, $3.03 a share. The street on average was looking for $2.84 a share. On the revenue side, $11.32 billion in revenue, a slight beat over analyst estimates. On average, they were looking for about $11.15 billion. Gross margin also did expand to about 45.7%. There. You're seeing a modest increase in the shares here in the after-hours session. I'm going to dig a little bit deeper and try to find some guidance.
Shares up about 1.6% in the after hours. In the press release, Sanjay Mehrotra, the company's chairman, president, and CEO, said that the company's uniquely positioned to capitalize on the AI opportunity ahead. He actually calls out being the only U.S.-based memory manufacturer. He said it's a record-breaking fiscal year, exceptional fourth quarter performance that underscores our leadership in tech, products, and operational execution.
All right, sounds like the data center business, right? Really some outperformance there. He says in the press release, keep in mind that Micron has been on a tear this year.
Yeah, let's get you the forecast here. The company is saying now that for its fiscal first quarter, it is guiding revenue in a range of $12.2 to $12.8 billion. The low end of that range is above the average of analyst estimates of 11.91. Adjusted EPS being guided in a range of $3.60 to $3.90. The low end of that range above the average of street estimates of $3.05, and gross margin for the current quarter, the company guiding 50.5 to 52.5%. The low end of that range above the average of analyst estimates of 45.7.
Yeah, I think that's so interesting when you look at not only are they going to grow more than the street had forecast, they're going to see bigger margins, right? So they're making more money. It's not like they're buying this growth. We talk so much about we've been talking so much today and yesterday since about noon after that NVIDIA announcement about the kind of circular nature of this AI infrastructure, right? OpenAI wants to buy GPUs from NVIDIA. NVIDIA invests $100 billion in OpenAI, and then they can afford to pay that revenue. Well, it looks like Micron isn't in that position. They're raising the revenue. They're raising the profit as well, with earnings per share also eclipsing what the street was looking for. So a beat on pretty much every level.
All right, so Micron continuing to trade up about 4% here in the aftermarket. I'm going to go back to some of the individual gainers in the regular session. I think I mentioned Paramount Skydance, an outperformer up at its highs, up 12%, finishing the day with a gain of about 6%. Remember, Paramount Skydance is said to be preparing a bid for Warner Brothers Discovery. I didn't see any real new news.
Yeah, why is it up?
I was
watching this all day and I couldn't figure it out.
I have no idea. At one point, it was the top gainer in the S&P 500. So I have no idea. On Friday, we did see CNBC talking about an offer that could land in the range of 22 to 24 per share. Although he did caution that, or the network cautioning that the price range was speculative. An offer could come later than previously expected. So Paramount on a tear. Warner Brothers.
Because of TikTok.
Was down a hair. Why?
It's because of TikTok, right?
Is it?
That's just my guess. I mean, considering Oracle rose on TikTok yesterday, and it's like father like son. Is that not the case?
I don't know. Matt says, but TBD.
This is Larry Ellison's kid, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yes, yes.
So as we all start to consume all of our media across short messaging apps like TikTok or short video apps like Vine, maybe Paramount Skydance somehow gets in on
Vine.
But I would almost say like if it was maybe Fox or something, right? Because isn't Murdoch now said to be maybe a part of it? So.
Yeah, well, Donald Trump said Lachlan was going to be involved as well as Rupert.
All right, I'm moving along to Kenvue because this one bouncing up 7% at its highs today, finishing the day with a gain of about 1.5%.
Kenvue, acetaminophen.
Yeah. Nicely said.
Thank you.
Well done, well done. President Trump's call. Yeah, I mean, listen, there was a rethink. There was a lot of doctors. We actually had a great doctor on our air talking about still planning to give it to his patients.
Yeah, Dr. Todd Ivey from the American College of Obstetricians.
And really going by the science and the research that's been out there. He said Tylenol, I mean, this is acetaminophen has been researched to death and has been around for a long time. So keep in mind.
All the way to death.
That's a weird choice of words, but okay.
Yeah.
Keep going, Carol.
God, boy, I'm missing Katie.
Is Matt in all week?
He is.
I'll be here all week.
Curious.
It's like having my four brothers around. Sorry, I forgot.
One of them doesn't
who's
matter
that
as
extra
much.
brother that you forgot?
All right, for something different, I'm going to mention SoundHound, up as much as 11% at its highs today, finishing with a gain of about 4.25%. Company and seafood restaurant chain Red Lobster announced a partnership to roll out an AI-powered phone ordering agent.
I love this.
I know.
Because I have no idea what it means. So
I don't have any idea either. I don't know what that is.
phone ordering agent? So what, I can just get my lobster on what? Like the AI orders it for me or something?
I don't
hush
know.
puppies?
I don't know. But the shares are up about.
As you can tell, I'm a big Red Lobster fan.
Shares are up about 30% in the past 7
You know,
trading
I've never
days.
been in a Red Lobster.
33% of the float is short. You know,
It's like I'm not even black.
I'm not even listening to you.
Sure.
Anyway, it's an outperformer. Tim, over to you.
I am going to go with the Mag 7 Total Return Index. Tech taking a hit today, big tech. All 7 of the Mag 7 ended up falling today. Amazon and NVIDIA dragging down the index, down 1.54%. Actually, the worst day in more than a month for the group. The Mag 7 still collectively up around 19% so far this year. Also, keep an eye on what happened with Vertiv and other electric power equipment companies today. Vertiv down 6.2%. This after Microsoft said it developed an in-chip cooling system that can essentially cool a server running core services for a simulated Teams meeting. The announcement coming from a blog post from the tech giant. I didn't know those were so.
Okay.
I didn't know those were so intensive when it came to the heat that was produced.
Maybe that's why it takes so long to load on my computer.
I don't know. No comment there. We also saw shares of Eaton and some other electric power equipment companies fall on that news. And finally, Firefly Aerospace. This is the Small rocket launching company that went public just a little over a month ago. Ticker FLY. It fell 15.5% today. This after the company came out with second quarter revenue that came in short of Wall Street expectations. The company did make history, though, a few months ago back in March when it landed its Blue Ghost robotic spacecraft on the surface of the moon.
Yeah.
That was in partnership with NASA.
A quick check on yields here, pretty much down across the board, and that would seem to be largely because of some of the comments that Jerome Powell laid out in that speech earlier today out there in Rhode Island. The, quote, challenging situation, in his word, in balancing out the risk between inflation and the labor market. You can see that most of the activity was on the longer end of the curve here. Slightly interesting here when we talk about folks that maybe had been still piddling around that steepener trade.